How to fix a relationship after a fight. You may feel so angry or betrayed after a fight that it may seem near impossible to even imagine repairing the relationship. Yet, it's difficult to have a healthy relationship without disagreements. Finding a balance of managing the fight and moving on can be difficult, and the way you manage fights can influence your relationship for the better or for worse. Choose to handle the fight in a way that benefits you both and helps move you in a positive direction. Handling the aftermath of a fight. Take some distance. When you're in the heat of the fight or the stinging aftermath of a disagreement, it's difficult to see things as they are. You may start to see the person as all bad and that every action he or she takes is somehow an act of defiance against you. However, with some distance, you can start to see the situation and the person more clearly. Take a couple steps back and allow yourself to gain some perspective. You may realize you are being critical or harsh, or not taking responsibility for what you contribute. Reflect more on yourself than the other person. Are there things within you that you're unable to examine, such as guilt, shame, or fear? How do your shadows or demons contribute to your relationship? Talk about the feelings involved. Without jumping back into the fight, talk about what feelings, situations, and other factors led to the poor communication. Specifically, talk about your feelings. What were you feeling before the fight? What about during the fight? Ask these questions to this person and discuss your feelings clearly and openly. You may have felt tired, lonely, hungry, or overwhelmed before the fight. Perhaps you were feeling stressed from work or school and carried the stress home with you. During the fight, you may have felt ignored, defensive, criticized, misunderstood, fearful, overwhelmed, ashamed, or unloved. Identify the missing pieces. Together with the person, ask what went missing in the fight. Was there a misunderstanding? Misperception? Poor communication? Think about how to communicate more clearly in the future, or not to jump to conclusions so quickly. What can you learn from the misdirection of this fight? Validate each other. Take a moment away from the specific subject of the fight and focus on validating each other's feelings. Listen intently when the person speaks. Avoid interrupting or jumping in with your opinion or perspective and instead, allow the person to complete each thought. Lower your defenses and open your heart. For instance, the fight may have been about finances, but this person may have been triggered by a fear of not having enough money and lashed out. Instead of fighting about money, acknowledge your partner's fear and validate those feelings. Accept responsibility. Take ownership for what you contributed to the fight. Admit that you accused your partner, said something mean, or spoke before having all of the information. Admit if you've been emotionally closed off, running on empty, taking your stress out on this person, or taking the person for granted. Take responsibility for your words and actions without blaming. Say, I know I contributed heavily to this fight. I've been working overtime at work which has caused me a lot of stress, and I've been taking out this stress on you. I haven't slept well in weeks, so I feel overly sensitive and irritable, and these feelings definitely contributed to the fight. Forgive. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself and letting go of any resentments or hard feelings. When you hold on to resentment, it can have physical and emotional impacts that negatively impact your life. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or pretending that the situation didn't happen, it just means you're willing to let it go and move on.